Happy Tuesday. Okay, I'm going to spill some tea, of course. Tina spilling the tea Tuesday, something like that. But anyways, if you are just a human being or a coach that wants to learn how to win at this thing called life, you're going to want to keep watching, because this weekend, I'm going to say it was a blessing and a curse, but I wanted to share with you what happened and how it can make a difference in your life. So Saturday morning, I woke up kind of like the usual Saturday morning, lingering around, having coffee in bed with my husband. Sometimes I get up and I want to work, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to work. I was getting ready to have a party for my daughter, her volleyball team. They were so excited with this whole pandemic and thing. They haven't been able to really get together. So we're creating a party for them, and they had their secret Santa exchange. So I got up, I cleaned the house, I got ready. I was really excited too, because I got asked if I wanted to apply to be a TEDx speaker at McMaster University. So I was getting ready for my interview. People were coming at noon. There's a lot of buzz in the house, excitement. So about a half an hour before my interview, I decided to walk downstairs to go into my office, make sure everything's clean, get myself mentally prepared. And I'm walking down and I stop. I'm like, what the F? My basement was flooded. Okay, flooded. I'm like, oh my gosh, what? How did this happen? So I couldn't see around the corner. I didn't know how bad it actually was. So I ran upstairs. I put on my rubber boots. I go down, I turn the corner, and I see the sump pump room is like floating. The boxes are floating. The bins are floating. There's water everywhere. Now, before I go any further, I want to know, if you're watching live or you're catching the playback, what would you do in that moment? It's 10 a.m. You have 50 people coming to your house at noon. You have an interview in a half hour. Your basement's underwater. What would you do? And type it in the chat. Would you cry? Would you run away? Would you call somebody? Would you cancel the event? Would you cancel the interview, reschedule the interview? What would you do? For me, it was almost like an automatic response. But so the catch line here is, of course, I'm like, okay, what do I need to do right in this moment? I need to call my husband and tell him, don't go to the gym, come home, because our basement is flooded. So that's what I did. I picked up the phone. I'm like, Houston, we have a problem. What's that? Our basement is flooded. What? What do you mean our basement is flooded? I'm like, yeah, I don't know what happened. I think it's in the sump pump room, but there's water everywhere. He's like, what do you mean everywhere? I'm like, just come home and see. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe there's no water in my office. So I go in my office and all I hear is squish, 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 because there's carpet in the office. Now, it's not super devastating, you guys, because my basement isn't completely finished. 2 bedrooms and a bathroom is finished. The rest is unfinished. So I'm like, my husband comes home. And so step number 1, right? I did not cancel the party. I'm like, we got 2 hours to figure this shit out. I am not canceling that party. I have a half an hour for my interview. What do I need to do to start getting water out of my basement? So we go downstairs and we get a hose. We attach it all up to this pump. We turn it on. It starts spraying water everywhere. Okay, there's holes in that one. We take it off. I run back upstairs. I grab another hose. I put it on. My husband's like, okay, turn on the water. Turn it on. It starts spraying water everywhere. So we're taking duct tape and we're like, oh my gosh, like we got to figure this out, right? Third time is the charm. So we go downstairs, we take the third hose, we duct tape it all, we put it on, and boom, it worked. So then we started pumping out the water, tons and tons of water. And to our surprise, the water just started dissipating. It started going away really, really quickly. You could hear it. I shared this story with you because it was easy to look at that top of the mountain. Oh my gosh, I have 50 people coming to my house. I have the interview, this and that and that. Where are people going to eat? What are they going to do? I didn't want to look at the top of the mountain because I would have just sat there and cried. And the reason why I asked you, what would you do, is because I thought, well, everybody's just going to take action. Just get the water out of the basement. Forget about the rest. But when I was talking to the guests, letting them know the experience, their responses were so mixed. They're like, oh man, I would have just sat there and cried. I wouldn't know what to do. Somebody else said, I would have canceled the party right away. That would be the first thing. I would just cancel the party right away. Somebody else was like, I don't know. I think I'd just call somebody to figure it out. I wouldn't want to take that action. I wouldn't want to do that. So all of these reactions were so mixed. And I thought, okay, so this is an opportunity here. This is an opportunity for me to share something with you, because doesn't life feel like that? Like you take care of one thing and then there's another problem and then there's another problem. It's like sometimes we're putting out fires, or in my case, we're putting out water. And how we can't control any of that. I can't control that I had an interview in a half an hour. I can't control that there was a party already scheduled. I can't control the 4 inches of rain that we got the night before and the floater on the sump pump getting stuck. I can't control any of that. But what I can always control, what you can always control, is your reaction in any situation. And see, in that moment, how I was able to control my reaction was this little thought. This isn't happening to me, it's happening for me. There is something that I'm supposed to get about myself, or there is a lesson here that I can give away to somebody else. That's how I stayed center. It's not about you, Tina. And it was really interesting because the interview for the TEDx, the theme was thrive. How do you thrive? How did you thrive in 2021? And one of the things that I say is that we always have choices, right? And sometimes when we're in the thick of all of the mess, we don't trust that everything is going to work out exactly the way it's intended. It might not be fun. It might not be pretty. It might be a little messy, but there is a bigger picture. So in that moment, I trusted that this was happening for a reason. And then on reflection, I can look for the gifts. So what is the gift? This was gift number 1. My husband's been really working on controlling his emotions. Sometimes when things hit the fan, he's like, what the flying F? Everybody is like, oh, what's going on? Dad, stay out of Dad's way. But he really has been working on, there's nothing wrong. All we got to do is take actions. He was so calm in that. And that experience had us working together as a family. My youngest daughter helping me with the hoses, running them out to the ditch. My oldest daughter cleaning up her room, making sure everything is great upstairs. We were really just united trying to solve this problem. That was the gift number 1. Gift number 2, when I went to my interview, I was standing in my office with my rubber boots on, and thank goodness that nobody could see me from the bottom down, but I used it as an opportunity. Talk about thriving. Let me just share what happened a half an hour ago. And I really tied that experience into what I want to talk about as a TEDx speaker, the difference between choices and decisions. It was so perfect. I was like, this has to be divine intervention. It really has to be. And I really trusted that it was. Now, I know that's not always easy. It takes something, right, to control our thoughts. You'll always hear me say there's an inner game and an outer game. You win the inner game. The outer game is easy, you guys, but this is the constant work, right? The other gift is that I got to I got to cause what happened next. I got to take one step forward. I got to be a part of something bigger than me. Also, I got to share this with you. And maybe there's some of you that are watching right now that are like, holy shit, I would have just cried. I wouldn't know what to do. That would be it. My whole weekend would be ruined. Maybe you can see that moments, we turn sometimes bad moments into bad hours, bad days, bad years. We don't have to do that. We get to choose something else. We get to choose what is so. In that moment, it was hard to say, I choose the flood, but it's like, I choose the flood. I choose the flood. I know that this is happening for a reason. Now, as you can see, I have a new environment today. I'm not in my office. What have I been saying for 2 weeks? Man, I need to go rent office space. I got to get out of this basement. Well, guess what? What you wish is what you get. The universe was listening and said, okay, Tina, you want out of your basement? Let me help you with that. let me flood your basement to get you out of the basement. So here I am in my bedroom. And it's all perfect, right? And, I know I'm making this sound easy, but why does it have to be challenging? See, what happened is the floater got stuck on the sump pump and there was water in my basement. That's what happened. The rest, the drama of it, is just what we create in our mind to make it really hard, but we can control that. So I would love to hear what you're getting from this. What is your takeaway? How can you use my upset, drama, whatever happened as a lesson for you? What is one new action you might be able to take in your own life? And maybe when shit starts hitting the fan or the water starts a-flowing, maybe you'll remember this and say, okay, I got this. This is happening for me. It's not happening to me. And I can always choose what I do next. I can always choose how I respond. I can always choose the next step. And really, you don't have to look at all of the things. Where are people going to eat? And what is, and all of that stuff. Now, this is the outcome, okay? The water dried up so quickly. And ironically enough, it was dry right where the couch was. I put a table down there. The girls were crammed in like sardines, but they didn't care. They were having the time of their life. They didn't care about the mess. They didn't care that there was boxes everywhere. All they cared was that they got to be with each other. They got to celebrate with each other. They got to exchange with each other. And that was the beauty. That was the gift in the basement flooding. So anyways, I hope you got value from this message. I know this is my last live message for the year because I'm taking 2 weeks off to just decompress and recharge my batteries so that I can show up powerfully for all of you. I am going to record videos. So the Tuesday show will go on. It just won't be live. It'll be recorded and shared with you. And I just want to wish everybody a very, very happy holidays, a safe holidays. We have a party on Friday. It's open to the public. We would love to celebrate with you, to share good cheer and will with you, and just spend an hour really celebrating you and all that you are in the world, all that you are creating. Despite what happens, know that everything is helping you take one step closer to your destination, to your purpose, to your vision, to your mission. But it's going to take some action. One action at a time, one small step at a time. You don't have to look at the top of the mountain because there is no top of the mountain. You just got to look at the first step. And when you start looking at the first step, before you know it, you'll look back on a year and you'll realize that you are climbing that mountain, even though it doesn't feel like it. So anyways, happy holidays. I just really, really want to say thank you for an amazing year. Thank you for following. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the gift you are to me and our team and our life. You have made a difference for us, and we appreciate you. We acknowledge you, and we just love you. Okay, so keep being amazing in the world. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate all that you are, because who you are is so incredible. Okay, I love you guys. Sending love. All you need is self-love, and you got this. Okay, bye everyone.